Hello YouTubers, welcome to my channel. I am still working on my Lady C's chapter 10 and I hope that you'll watch that. Now, there is just a couple of things that I want to mention about this, while at the same time being sensitive to the fact that she's lost a child. That is a tragedy, and no one should ever wish anything bad to happen to anyone, even though you look at people critically for their choices and the things that they make. Losing a child is something that just happens, and Meghan being up in years, she does have a higher risk of having a miscarriage because of her age. And so I think this is something that you don't want to happen. You don't have a choice if it happens. So for the purposes of this video, I just wanted to talk about some of the things that I had read about in the comments about it, and also give my personal take on the matter. I am sensitive to the fact that she lost a child, and I watched, or actually I listened to the op-ed that she had written in the New York Times, and a couple things come to mind. Why now? And it looked too close to the fact that Catherine's, the Cambridges, that had lost their dog, and they had suffered loss, and now it looks as if Meghan is trying to trump the loss of the Cambridges by talking about something that happened to her back in July. Why did it get released now is the question. I think had you known that this was something that was going to be put out in a newspaper, you would have waited to have the timing be not around the time of what the other royals are doing, just out of respect. It's a respect thing because you're putting something else that deals with loss. We know that the Cambridges dealt with the loss of Lupo. Why release that now? Maybe perhaps see if it can be, released later. I don't know the logistics of all of that and how it happened, but that's what it looks like. And the reason why it looks like that is because there's been a pattern of doing that in the past. And so I think, unfortunately, it draws people away from this sympathetic issue that we're reading in the paper, because we see an underlining smack of somebody who is also suffering a loss, and you trying to come in and put an article in the paper to have sympathy and to talk about your loss, while at the same time we know other royals have suffered a loss as well. So I think that just looks bad, and that's unfortunate, because you shouldn't try to use this loss to trump other people in their situation and their loss. Now, maybe this was not the case, maybe it was, but the fact that there is a pattern of doing that takes away from it. This being something that happened, and it can be better by trying again, and hopefully time will heal this loss. It was back in July. There were other things that I think about when I hear Meghan speak, and I'm just trying to be honest about when she tries to come at us. We know she has a new PR team, and we know that this is something that could be part of her PR. We don't know, because we just have a history of this couple doing certain things that we're always looking a lot more critically at the things that they do, because of the past patterns and choices that they have made in the past. The article talked about asking if you are okay. And we know that Meghan had that big controversy back when she was in Africa, them asking if she's okay, and her doing this while she was in Africa amongst lots of women and children who are dealing with horrible things that they should not have to deal with. And her asking that question was on the backs of the people that she was there to support, which made it not okay to even ask that question at that time. And so there's a couple of other things that I wanted to bring up around that. We still have the issue between Meghan and her father. when she looks at wanting to see if someone is okay, I can't get past the fact that she's completely snubbing her family as well about, are they okay? You know, and you want us to have sympathy for you and how you feel when you see someone suffering. But at the same time, we look at you, but you don't even care about your own family. So it really is a dynamic of wanting to really feel sorry for someone in them and their pain, which we do. I'm sure most people do, because that is a very tragic thing. But then there's things that certain people just can't get past. And these are the things that I have been reading. And what about your family as well? And that's always going to be an issue that comes up. So as advice to Meghan's PR team, try to really heal that wound, heal that issue, because until you make a reckoning with the people that you grew up with who supported you to where you are today, almost anything that Meghan does is going to be overshadowed with her past choices of how she has treated some of the people that are most closest to her. And I think it's unfortunate that she had this loss, but she has other losses that she should be talking about as well. And I don't want to be insensitive. I want to come off as someone who is showing definitely sincere condolences. But I think part of the problem with people having the negative comments is because of the things that are still plaguing the tragedy of relationships that she has till this day now. I think if you're going to mention anything in an op-ed that deals with the issues that we're dealing with in the world right now around politics and around, you know, the elections and the killing of George Floyd, if you're going to mention these things, it's really only fair to also mention your family and the divide, the divisions that have been caused between Harry and his family and Meghan and her family, and all of the division that has occurred because of the choices that Harry and Meghan have made. You're opening things up to talk about all the bad that we're seeing, but there's no accountability to the poor choices that have also been made by the person writing the article. There's no atonement for how she could have been better. And that would have been a much better article, because you are also realizing that you're not perfect. And you're also showing that you're not always the victim. Sometimes maybe you can do better as well. I think that was a missed opportunity to really bring that up and to say also, how can I be better? And also, why put this in the paper when you wanted privacy? This is something that is so private. So this should have been shared between you and your loved ones. It is something that if you really want privacy, like this is something that they valued and had always talked about, their privacy. Have that intimate privacy amongst you and your family, because that's what you value. That's what you say you want. But then when we see that something like this comes out in the paper, it looks like, it doesn't look like you are sincere. It looks like you're using this to maybe even cover up all the news and the backlash around the cemetery issue, the taking of the photos inside the cemetery. So it's not that I want to be or look like I'm not sensitive to what has happened, but there are these things that people are thinking more critically around, that watch the comings and goings of this couple and can say, that's what it looks like. Because you're losing the sympathy and admiration of people for something that they should rally around you because of your loss, but instead people are saying things such as this. So you've lost the public admiration, you've lost the trust and the likability from the public. And I think, if anything, at this point, don't come out with any PR. Just don't do anything and just heal. Heal your past relationships with the families of Harry and Meghan's family. Heal the divide that Meghan has caused amongst people who once really liked her when she first came on the scene. But because of all of the poor decisions and choices that have been made, people are not looking as favorably upon this couple during a time when they should be. But people can't get around all these other things and patterns to really give you the full, sincere condolences that you really should be getting at a time like this. And when you read the comments and you read all these things, it just shows that the choices have been really poor. And it hasn't healed these other things to get people to really look at you in the way that they should be looking at you now. Now, we know, of course, you're going to get the condolences and the sympathy that one would hope to get because of a story like this from people who don't really look at all those other things and patterns and issues. They're definitely going to give you, but I think this is a time when there should be nothing negative said about Meghan and Harry because of this story. But the fact that they are still getting that, it tells you a lot about how their past choices have fueled a lot of backlash on this couple because of the things that they have done in the past. We always want to have other people say, hey, don't treat me like that. Be better, be nicer. But you also have to always be willing to say when you too should be better. And my condolences to Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. And that's what I want to say about that.